Welcome to Top of the Line. This is the podcast version of our YouTube show. New episodes every Monday and Friday where we talk about audio and hi-fi related themes.
If you have any requests for a future episode, send us an email, totl@abyssheadphones.com. So yeah, it's been a while since we just kind of like talked about our own thing.
Did a speculative ramble.
Yeah, and not that long ago, a few days ago or whatever, Apple announced that they're going to do lossless audio on, I'm assuming, all their music.
Yep.
Which is like, and it's no extra charge.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
There's been mumbling about this for many years now. I remember hearing about high-resolution audio from Apple, must have been 8 to 10 years ago or something like that. And I guess now is the right time and place that it's actually happening. And this probably will have pretty significant impact for the entire industry. Not really headphones per se, at least too much, but we'll speculate about that one later. But for the music industry, it pretty much mandates that now you have to have a lossless option because there's quite a few services that don't. And there's a big debate over MQA recently too. So it's interesting to see where that one will go and who's going to continue to support it going forward. But it looks like lossless is going to be the new standard or at least option available at most services.
Yeah, I guess Apple probably realized that it's like, well, it hit a point where like everybody mobily at least has like unlimited data again on their phones and everything. So like, and internet speeds are fast enough where,
right,
you don't need to compress everything as much as they used to. So I guess it just hit a point where they can roll out, lossless.
Pretty much. Yeah, because just like any other service, when Apple does it, everyone follows. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but of course people are reluctant to install auxiliary applications when they could just do it with whatever's integrated and built in. And a lot of times you do get better integration when you're dealing with a first-party service like that.
And assuming that, Apple, obviously, if they're streaming lossless music, then they must have the master side of it, whatever they're getting from the studios must be pretty high-res too, which means the studios can provide that for whatever it is, 7 million songs or whatever that they have.
Yeah.
Then that means they can provide it to everybody.
Right.
So it's just a question of rolling it out.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. It's the good news is this is all about audio now for a change, right? Us high-resolution
For the first time in a while, yeah.
It's not the video. It's not, going from 1080p to 4K to 8K. It's audio. And I can't remember the last time. When the hell was it the last time? Other than like a title with their master, a tick box on some tracks. I can't recall the last time that we've seen just a complete, almost like wiping the slate clean and starting from scratch. Let's do high res on all the songs we have thing. I can't recall anyone doing that.
It really hasn't happened. And if you ask me, the last time something of this significance happened was pretty much when Apple rolled out iTunes and they actually started shipping music on their service. I don't think people quite understood how substantial that was, because if you're a small service and you're contacting these record companies and you say, hey, we want to license your music to stream it, which at the time was a new service, or for download, which again was very new at a time, they just laughed at you, right? They didn't want to do it. And it was obvious because you couldn't buy the content for so long. People were stealing music because you couldn't buy it.
Yeah, right.
And all the record companies thought, well, maybe people just don't want to buy it. No, it's just you made it so difficult that it was easier to steal than it was to buy.
Yeah, Steve had to talk him into that one.
And then they forced them, right? It's the economic forcing function of Apple saying, hey, we're a huge platform. We got a lot of users.
I think at the time, that he forced the 99 cent per song thing.
Yeah, he did.
If I recall.
Yeah.
And he even, I don't know if you call it taking a hit, but I'm pretty sure they paid a pretty good price per track. They were in the mid to upper 80-some cent range. Was going to the music, and the rest was Apple. Yeah, so Apple was taking like 14 cents on a song or something.
Well, I guess he figured that's
the
only way
sounds
that you
like
can make
a lot
it happen.
Maybe,
that they would accept it.
Yeah, yeah, right. I don't know what they do now. I have no idea, and maybe that's normal for the music distribution model. I have no freaking idea, but it didn't sound like a lot considering they're pushing the music at you. and where no one else was. But I have no idea. That's not our line of business.
See, I think in that context, though, the trouble was they thought we have it, you want it. And they didn't see it as a big, real opportunity for them. They were very hesitant to give up the rights to the music and allow you to buy it. They wanted you to buy the whole album at retail and not just a singular track.
Right.
Because that's how people thought that it was going to be. They thought you were just going to buy the banger and you wouldn't buy the rest of the album.
That fundamentally changed the distribution model for music forever.
Yeah.
And they probably saw that writing on the wall, and they saw that coming anyway. And I know cable was kind of been the
I'm
same
not
way.
sure they did.
No? The music industry.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, that's maybe not. Cable TV's always been that way too.
Yeah,
Same
you want
system,
like 4
yeah.
channels.
You know,
but you're gonna
right.
pay for all of them.
Yeah, and they talked about it for years and years, where you can pick a la carte and all that. It never really happened. And
Yeah.
in fact, it's just happening now, where you can basically, the studios looks like they're going out on their own.
Yeah,
You're
Right.
just signing up direct and streaming whatever you want. And, you don't need a hardwired cable coming in your home anymore, other than for internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, in the beginning, all the record companies were really upset about what everyone wanted to do. They didn't want to do the streaming and the singular track downloads. But that was in a time where they were concerned because profits were declining, the revenues were dropping, and they thought this would only make it worse, surely. But turned out to be very favorable, and it's working very well for them. So I think, especially at this point, now that it's such a stable business, I think they're pretty willing to do that. And now that Apple's doing it, it pretty much means that the content is going to have to be generated. And so all these companies that probably were kind of hesitant to say, we'll offer you lossless quality for a small company, now they pretty much have to do it because Apple is asking for it. And I think that'll mean that lossless is going to be available on pretty much all platforms. And hopefully it'll be included as standard or at least a very reasonable upcharge. And that's really great because, like we've talked about many times, getting the content, that's always the hardest part. In some situations, it's impossible to get high-resolution audio of your favorite artist because it just isn't available, right? Whoever owns the media doesn't want to provide it to you sometimes, and you just can't get it. You could only get some things. So it's pretty big for the headphone and the audio industry to be able to get better quality content.
Well, I guess it all came down to convenience is what happened. People like to, instead of getting new albums, it's like you already have them, As soon as something comes out, well, it's already on Apple Music. And
Yeah, well,
you
with
already have
streaming,
it.
that's a pretty huge impact.
So it's not just like video. Convenience wins. Nobody buys discs anymore, right? You just stream everything. And music is the same way. And we finally got a big player lossless streaming. So
that's awesome.
That's great.
I mean, it's awesome. And right, not only that, it allows small companies like us to really show off what we're doing because, if that's your main, if that's a consumer's main source of music, now all of a sudden they'll see a bigger gain by getting a better headphone or better electronics, right? Because the music's higher res. So, assuming you follow that path, you'll notice the difference rather than, still kicking back with MP3 files, right? So it should help. It just helps it helps everybody grow and better educate themselves with what they're listening to and what they're hearing.
Well, I guess it depends on what content's actually going to be high res. Like if like mainstream artists actually start coming out high res, the people will be like, "Oh, what's this?"
I think they want to. Don't you think? I would think.
I mean, I don't see why
I'm
not.
sure they're
right?
recording in higher res. They're not.
Probably,
I think this is enough of an economic forcing function that all these small guys are going to have to. They're going to feel the need to release in high res because most people will, presumably. I think you give it a little bit of time and the majority of content will be high res, and that'll make the standard moving forward that you have to release in this content. You have to release your content in some sort of high resolution lossless format. Yeah. And simply because Apple makes it free, effectively, they don't charge extra for it, that's pretty profound. That means that everyone is probably going to want it because it's new and it's better. And the data caps aren't really as much of an issue anymore. The bandwidth isn't really an issue. So it's the right time, it's the right place. It seems to be working pretty well.
What's even cooler beyond this is they talked about also adding Dolby Atmos capability to, I guess, the music files, and assumably that'll roll into into movies at some point too, which is, we did a video back, I don't know how long, not so many months ago, we're saying, why the hell can't we get Dolby Atmos on our headphones? It doesn't make any damn sense, they got the capabilities to do a 2-channel version of it, and nobody has it. So I'm glad to see that's a thing now. It's happening.
Well, especially from such a big player, and
Yeah.
they have a lot of influence, obviously, over everything, audio and video related. So when they do it, everybody will follow, and hopefully, more Atmos support for other things.
Yeah, and I can't say as if that's going to be a huge thing for music itself, but I'm looking forward to being able to do movies and stuff like that with that on headphones. That makes a whole lot of sense.
That seems pretty exciting, and I think that could really benefit the headphone industry as a whole. And again, just because Apple's doing it, that's pretty much the only reason why it's going to happen. That gives me some degree of excitement for the future of spatial audio and whatnot, because if some small company said, hey, we're going to do this, they probably wouldn't have enough leverage to actually get it done. They probably wouldn't have enough content to really make it meaningful and profound. But I think Apple has enough sway that it'll pretty much be the de facto standard, and everyone's going to want it. And going forward, it'll be standard.
Yeah, it'll happen rather rapidly at this point, too.
probably. Yeah,
they've probably been working on this for years in the back burner. So, I mean, they would have had to have.
Right.
For something to
it
roll
makes
out like
sense.
this.
You
So,
could see it, and, you could see it. You could see it with the over-ear headphone, and, you could kind of tell where they were going with that.
Well, they're like the biggest headphone manufacturer, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, by
Well, that's
volume.
true. Well,
so.
ever since they bought Beats, they kind of had that distinction right there. Douglas just looked up the number, and I guess Apple's AirPods, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Is doubling every year for the last 3-4 years. So
Yeah, in terms of sales.
we're estimating they're in 200 million plus a year territory for
Yeah, they're
unit
probably
sales.
over 100 million, and there's probably in the range of 200 million units shipped at the moment.
That's a crazy
So
number.
that's a very, very large
Well, I mean,
number.
they kind of helped it along with removing the headphone jack,
Yeah, well, right.
Yeah, they had some push there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
A
everybody's
master
like,
plan.
I gotta go wireless anyways. Might as well get one that works well with my phone.
Yeah, crazy numbers when you think about it, But all cool for audio, because that's how many people are listening to music.
Yeah.
Where if you look back 10 years or so, or 12 years, it was a scary time. I don't know how many people were really, maybe a little
everybody
further back
was.
than that. But
Well, I mean, ever since the original iPod, people had this stock earbuds. I mean, they weren't good, but
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw people all the time with the white earbuds, the early ones.
yeah,
So they
It
were
came with it,
listening,
and they
but-
used it.
yeah. But it wasn't a primary thing. Like, it wasn't a lifestyle thing. Like, it wasn't like it is today, where everybody's got it. I mean, you look around,
It was more
everywhere you
boutique.
go.
Being built into your phone definitely helped out.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have an audio source with you all the time.
I mean, I don't think you could walk into a store without someone having something in your ear
Oh,
nowadays.
Yeah.
Multiple people. I mean, it's a good percentage. Or wherever you go, airports. It's
Right.
crazy. Everyone's just
Well,
wearing them.
convenience usually wins out. And in this case, everyone has a streaming music player with them, right? They have basically the world's library of music in their pocket available at all times. So that's a pretty compelling function right there. All you need is better headphones and high-resolution audio, and everyone's pretty much a hi-fi enthusiast.
We're nearly a few steps away from just when you're born, they'll just implant one in your head and
What, an
call
iPhone?
it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're working on
An
the
iPhone.
Neuralink
There you
thing.
go.
Neuralink, yeah.
I mean, right. We'll have Elon will take his side of it and combine with Apple, and when you're maybe 2 years old, they'll just
Yeah.
hardwire you.
I think we're still a ways off.
Yeah,
from
we're
that,
ways off.
But
Yeah.
that may be coming at some point.
Yeah. So anyway, it's all exciting news. It's great for us guys in audio. It's great for anyone who enjoys music. Terrific news, So
Hopefully we see more spatial audio type stuff, and
yeah.
maybe even portable amplifiers that support it that you could plug your existing wired headphones in with.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll probably be coming.
That's true. Actually, it's kind of like the first new thing in audio since like stereo.
Yeah.
We had stereo that whole time. Now we're getting like
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, pretty much.
In
Yeah.
headphones.
yeah.
Yeah. Especially in
So-
the headphone space.
It really is more or less the first big leap since CD. Because before CD, you didn't have a lot of high resolution formats. CD was pretty good, and there was a long span after CD where quality went down because the convenience won out. And now we're finally back above CD quality.
Right.
So it's been a really
or at
long
CD
circle.
quality.
Yeah, but in combination with the convenience, it's a pretty big leap, I would say. to get CD or above quality streamed from any artist, pretty much any song, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Period. On another note, we got to get moving. So thank you, everyone, for watching our blabber on this one. And even though it's mostly speculative, it's more or less, what's coming. That's what we're being told. So usually those guys don't lie too often. They usually, if anything, they underperform. So
we'll see.
Yeah. So take care, everyone. Thumbs us up. See ya.